Let's talk Tanya for the 12th of Tamuz of a leap year. Yesterday we explained that when a person does Teshuvah, so sometimes atonement is achieved immediately, sometimes it takes some time, sometimes you have to wait till Yom Kippur. For certain sins even, it requires suffering to cleanse that sin. However, every single time, in order to be able to achieve atonement, it needs to be preceded by Teshuvah. What is Teshuvah? So Alter Rebbe says, Teshuvah is very simply a firm resolve never to sin again. And that is what the word Teshuvah means. Teshuvah in Hebrew means to return to God. I strayed from the path. It's a resolve. I am not going to stray again. From now on, I am going to follow God's will and do that which He wants me to do and stay away from that which He does not want me to do. Now, while this sounds very simple, it's very important for the Alter Rebbe to emphasize this because the Alter Rebbe says there's a widespread misconception. At the very least, during the times of the Alter Rebbe, there was this widespread misconception that Teshuvah consisted of fasting. That fasting was an integral part of Teshuvah. And the Alter Rebbe says that's absolutely not the case. If you look in all the books that talk about Teshuvah, you look in the Rambam, Teshuvah is simply this resolve that from here on, I am going to follow the will of Hashem. So why is it that we actually find many times, even in the Tanakh, even in the Bible, we find this idea of fasting? One of the primary examples of this is in the Megillah, in the story of Esther, where Esther told Mordechai to gather all the Jewish people and they should fast for 3 days. Was that not part of their Teshuvah? The Alter Rebbe says no. The Alter Rebbe says the reason why we find fasting very often, Alter Rebbe actually gives several reasons, but he says the most common reason is that when there is a gezerah, there's some sort of heavenly decree that there should be some sort of calamity or tragedy. So when we fast, we can rid ourselves of that decree because the suffering of the fasting is in place of the suffering of whatever evil decree was intended for us. However, we need to understand that even when we do fast in order to get rid of a decree, it's not an integral part of Teshuvah. Teshuvah remains that which we defined earlier. Teshuvah is the resolve never to do a sin again. Tomorrow, we're going to start chapter 2, and tomorrow we'll find out that there's actually also another reason for fasting. It's still not an integral part of Teshuvah, but there is another reason for fasting, which is applicable to everyone, not only someone who's trying to avoid a harsh heavenly negative decree, and we will, Emir Sashan, find out what that is in tomorrow's Tanya.